Welcome back again, folks. Just bring you a quick video on just some suggestions on how to upgrade your base of operations in Tom Clancy's The Division. So right off the bat, you have a pretty good array of options open to you. Some of them are locked out depending on your mission progression. And really, there is no wrong order to do these in. But there are a few options I would highly recommend prioritizing first. In the case of the medical wing, I would strongly recommend getting the counseling perk right away because of the you get a passive 10% gains to credits. So your money is just going. You could argue that you might want to do it later when because at higher levels you're going to be getting more credits. But the earlier you get this, the more your money is going to snowball, which is pretty useful. The another one worth getting early on is the pharmacy. Because of the rigor, which will get you basically free fabric every single hour. It's only one at a time, really, so it's not a whole lot, but it's still free materials coming in. The quality can also vary as well. Other good options would be the decontamination unit, because then you get another dark zone inventory slot. By default you only have 6, it maxes out at 9. Increasing how much stuff you can extract at a time is a pretty big deal. Measures, most of these are right. And then, yeah. So let's move over to the tech wing. Now, there's a few good options here. And again, there is no wrong order. Go for whatever you like. But I would strongly recommend getting the Recharge Center ASAP, because this is going to increase the amount of Dark Zone funds you get. This is if you're not planning to do any PvP at all, or at least, you know, wander into the dark zone as little as possible, maybe just to get some gear, then get out, not really hang around in there too much, then you can ignore this. But most people are probably going to want to get this perk. This perk is insane. Dark zone credits don't come, or they really don't come in large amounts to begin with, outside of getting chests or killing other rogues. But this every extra bit of funds you can get is nice, especially since you lose funds when you're killed in there. The recalibration is also a pretty big deal for the stat switch. The stat switch basically lets you re-roll perks on items. Now there was a similar feature to this in Destiny Reforging, where you would go to the vendor and they would basically re-roll the entire weapon itself. This doesn't do that. This lets you select one perk at a time. And then I believe it gives you. My friend was experimenting with this earlier, telling me about it. You basically get 4 choices for each time you re-roll it, and you can re-roll it as many times as you can afford. Bear in mind the cost goes up with each attempt. Still, pretty critical for getting a perfect build going. There's nothing worse than getting an item that's almost perfect, except for that one little starter perk on there that you don't quite like and you'd like to change. The SATCOMs are pretty damn useful, revealing all division tech in the dark zone. Although that's, I mean, I eventually you'll probably just have it mapped out anyway and memorized, so it's handy, but not by no means critical. This is another pretty good one, field engineering. It's basically the same thing as over in the medical wing, except instead of fabric, you're getting tools. Nope. Same thing again here. You collect electronics, and electronics are a huge pain to stack. They're pretty rare to come by compared to other materials. But the problem is, this is 1,000 points, and I'm not sure if I could even unlock this right away, even if I had the credits, because this might be tied to story progression. I know. Applications, and there's Dark Zone inventory. Pretty good.
You're gonna be real popular when word gets out. The Recharge Center will let civilians power up the devices.
And then, so finally, we have the security wing, which has some pretty interesting perks to it. Most of them to do with the K9 unit. So the K9 unit is pretty cool because it basically helps you find all the little collectibles once you've done all the side missions in an area. The shooting range, it just says you can train in marksmanship. I have no idea what, like, it could just be there for fun, like practice your shooting. It might give you stats for doing that. I really don't know how that works. I'll have to get back on you guys about that. Guard post is interesting, collects ammo. The procurement team, now this says collects items. So I don't know if that means equipment, because things like soda, water, fabric, and when they craft, those are all very specific. Whereas this just says items. So maybe it is gear, I don't know. I haven't gotten this yet. When I find out, I'll let you guys know. The gunsmith, weapon parts, pretty nice. Increases explosive bullets duration. Oh, the other thing too to keep in mind is these all unlock skill modifiers too. But those, in my mind, are kind of secondary to the perks. Some of these perks, since the perks are always active. And some of them are quite potent. So this unlocks a clothing vendor. Big deal. Buy cosmetic stuff. Ooh. The Dark Zone Ops is a huge one, because it's more Dark Zone inventory, but it also adds a black market vendor to your base of operations. So if you want to spend your DZ funds without having to go into the Dark Zone, this is your upgrade. And then the barracks. The barracks, I know for a fact, requires more more mission progression. I can't get it yet, but it's pretty freaking nice. Increase EXP gain from acolytes by 25%. Which I believe that's for discovering areas, picking up collectibles and whatnot. Pretty good. Probably applies to killing rogues in the Dark Zone and things like that as well. The armory is pretty nice. It gives you the advanced weapon vendor, which I'll show you in a minute. And then the situation room is the first one you have to get anyway. Jacks up your EXP. So the advanced weapon vendor is the guy way back here behind the cage. He's expensive, but he's got some generally pretty nice stuff to sell. Oh, I would strongly recommend getting the armory early if you've got spare cash.
Catch you another time.
Or if you just don't feel like scavenging around for stuff. So that's it, folks. Just a quick little recommendation. Like I said, it's all up to you.
Hey,
this game is totally open-ended. You can proceed with it however you want. I just strongly recommend prioritizing the long-term gain perks first. Until next time, guys. Peace out.